Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and stampartconnection.com. It's Wednesday. It's time for our weekly live. I want to say hi to Rosa. So glad you're back home. I know that we were, we both live in this part of Florida, and there were just tons of things going on with the storm. So glad you're back. I'm kind of waiting for a couple of other people to come on. Hey, Monica, good to see you. Glad you could join us because we're going to try something different today. We were going to do I was going to have a guest demonstrator join us because we were working on a project together, and hopefully she will come on. Hold on, mute that. Amy, can you hear me? I think I've got you unmuted.
Hi.
Hey, Amy. Thanks for joining. Amy is our guest demonstrator this evening. We're working together on a project that we wanted to present together. Amy, I was just greeting everybody coming in. It looks like we got all our Stamping Fusion people, Rosa, Monica. I don't see Jackie, but I see Kelly and Rosa, and I was looking for Catherine. Cynthia, glad you could join us, Cynthia. Just talked to Catherine. I think she's trying to get in as well. Some of the stuff that's going on in Stamping Up is that we do have our paper sale. It's going on now. I'm going to cover some of the a stamp set that's going to be available to November. We have a neat project. It's called the box card, which is different than the other kind of box card. It's so easy, and I posted it on Stamping Fusion. Okay, so here is the front of the card that I made for autumn. This is my autumn card. Okay, and it's got a ribbon, and we're going to open this up. And surprise, it opens up like this, and you have two surfaces that you can put an element, and then on the bottom here you can have your sentiment. Mm-hmm. So I picked this, and I thought it was kind of a neat project. I don't know, Amy, did you want to give us a peek of what you've done with yours?
I don't know. I have 2 done, and I have 4 that I'm finishing while we're teaching. So do you want me to show one now? I can show you my Halloween one.
Show the Halloween one, and then we'll start the project, and then at the end you can show us the other one, and we'll just keep working together.
Okay. So I got really fancy. This is my second one I did. And so it just looks plain on the outside, a little spooky. And I didn't get fancy with the ribbon yet because Kat didn't show me how to do the ribbon yet. But when you open it up, I have all these little animals. And it's an old retired set with the chick and the dog and the little elephant that's wearing a bat costume, which is pretty ridiculous. And then I hand tied this little spider webby. And I just thought this would be a cute kids card. And then I stamped this sentiment, no tricks or just treats. And then I put little, this is part of that ribbon bundle. It comes with a really thick green ribbon, and then it comes with this really teeny thin gold ribbon. So I made it look kind of like a frame, like it's, in an art gallery or something. And it was perfect for this size. So if you want to frame anything in this little card, I suggest this gold ribbon because it's just right. And I just used the multi-glue, and I went around the outside of my sentiment and just stuck it right there, and it went perfect. And it's like the cutest little gold frame. So yeah, I don't suggest doing this web unless you have very, very good dexterity and patience. It's like 5 strings wide and 5 strings up and down, and there's knots at every juncture. So it took me a while. But isn't that cute?
That is cute. Wow. That's a good tip, because I think one of the other ladies on Stampin' Fusion asked about how can I put a gold border around something, and we don't really have a die that cuts a thin gold border, but I hadn't thought about using, I think it's that gold piping, right, that you can use?
Yeah, yep, it's in a 2-pack, and I can go grab my ribbon and show you guys in a minute. But yeah, it's a 2-pack. It comes with this really gorgeous green ribbon. I think it might be shaded spruce, and then it also has a gold, and the gold is just like, it's a little bit thicker than a thread. It's more like a cord, I guess. Yeah, like a gold cord. Do you have it, Kat? She's looking. I'm supposed to keep talking so that they don't show you looking in the closet.
Oh, because I've got my pajamas on.
I'm also business on top and pajamas on the bottom. Anybody else in the audience? Business on.
Anyone's got pajamas on?
Who's got the pajama night?
I'll flash my pajamas. There, you saw my pajamas.
Oh, I have hearts. Look.
So, you know, I talked about a pajama party, but I think I'd probably be better at a Saturday morning, grab your coffee and roll out of bed pajama party. This is the thread that that Amy's talking about. It came with one of the sets, and I'll look it up. But look how nice! It's just a really nice gold, like a piping, and it's got some nice. It's easy to manipulate, so I can see where you could put that around. But that's a really good idea. I really like that.
And it cuts really precise. It doesn't like unravel at the edges, so that also made it really nice to go around. I went a little bit long, and then I just took my snips up and I did like a little snip, and it made it look perfect.
Awesome.
I hope that helps.
It does. Let's go ahead and get started on our project. I'm going to be using some projects that came out of this bundle, which is going to be offered, available on 2 November. And this is called, I guess it's the Curvy Celebrations. And it happens to come with, and doggone if my paper isn't right at my fingertips, but it happens to come with some DSP. And I'm just going to grab like a piece here, because this is the piece I'm going to be using some of the DSP. And the neatest part about this is that they have these curvy framelets that cut some really nice curves that you can make some really pretty cards. And I think you've seen some of the cards that that Catherine has already made. She gets her stuff like that, and she's already posted, so she's already beat us on the creativity. But I think it's kind of nice. But I'm going to be using that set. I don't know what sets Amy's going to use. She can go ahead and talk to that. But we're going to go ahead and put together. This is very easy, and I'm going to show you how we're going to put this together and how easy it is to put these elements on this card. So let's go ahead and get started. So you need a piece of cardstock that is going to measure 8 inches by 8 inches. And then you're going to grab your scoreboard. And I think I have my scoreboard down here. I'm going to put my scoreboard here. And I'm going to score this 4 inches, and then I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to score it again at 4 inches. So I've just made quad, 4 squares. All right. Now I'm going to put my scoreboard aside, and I'm going to bring in my cutting board. And what I want to do, looking at my at these 4 squares, is I'm going to take the square in the upper right-hand corner as I'm looking at it. And if I turn it around, it'll be at this corner right here. And I'm going to line it up on my cutting board. And I'm going to go ahead and put the points, because I want to do a diagonal score just through this one square here. So I just line those up. Make sure I get the scoring blade and move the cutting blade out. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to score that. So you can see how that is kind of scored right there. So let me go ahead and put this aside. Then I'm just going to take my good old score tool here, and I'm going to fold, and I'm just going to score all my folds. I'm going to go ahead and score that. Now that I've done that, I have these three, and then I have this diagonal. I'm going to grab a pair of shears, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to cut there, and that's it. Now, this makes your card, because all you're going to do is you're going to fold it in like this, and then this diagonal is going to fold down, and that builds your box card. You can go ahead and just crease those. So there you go. That's your card. So now you're going to put panels. And what I did and what I recommend is to go ahead and select some paper that you're going to lay out, because you're going to put a panel. We're going to have a panel on the inside. We're going to have one panel here on the bottom, and then you're going to have a panel that's going to be here that we're only going to use adhesive tape on the top, so that this is what's going to bend and fold in. And then you're going to have a panel on the front. So what I do is I cut, since these are 4 by 4, I cut some Whisper White 3.5 by 3.5. This is my front, but I'm just going to set that aside. And I'm going to lay out my panels like this. This is 3.5 by 3.5. Now, I am using Designer Series paper. And this is the Designer Series paper that came with this set. Here it is. It's called Classic Curvy. And here are all the designs and the colors that come with the Curvy Celebrations. So what I did is I went ahead and I took my 6 by 6, because this is 6 by 6. I don't want to waste any of this paper. So anything that I'm going to use for cardstock for this project, I'm just going to cut 3 by 3 so that I save my paper. Now for my top two, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these tree patterns that come with the paper. I'm going to put one there, and I'm going to cut this one so it's 3 by 3 square. And this is how I make sure I'm using my Designer Series paper as efficiently as possible. And I'm going to go over to this other set. You may remember this bundle that comes with, here's the stamp set. It's the Coming Home set. And what's kind of neat about these curves is that this Coming Home set also has framelets, edgelets that are curved. Especially, I really liked this little framelit here. Look at that, it's curved. It kind of all follows in the same theme with the Curvy Celebrations. So I'm going to pull that out, because I'm taking this paper, and I want these two pieces to be the back edge of my box, right? So here's my box. There's my box. I'm going to have this piece on this side and this piece on this side. And I'm going to use my tree edge to kind of give me a scene. I'm going to create a scene. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two pieces of 3-inch cardstock. I'm going to lay it down, and the edgelet fits perfectly straight across. So here's my cutting board, right? Here's my cutting platform. So I'm just going to lay that down. I'm going to lay my 2 pieces of designer series paper. I'm going to lay my edgelet right there, and I'm going to cut right across that. And I'll be right back. Okay, so here it is, and I'm going to pop these off, and there are my 2 pieces that are going to go on my cardstock right there. Okay, and that's going to be my background. Then I'm going to go over to my, to this same bundle, has this wonderful designer series paper. And I don't have to punch out anything. All I have to do is grab the dies, and I can cut some little houses. And let me show you. I can cut these little houses out of that paper. And I can cut this little house out of that paper, and then I can cut a little tree, and I can cut a big tree. So now I can kind of begin to create a scene right there, and I can put a house. Let's say I want it this way. I can put a little house over here, and then I can put a little house over here. But one of the other things that's really kind of neat about this set is that it comes with this cute little VW that I already stamped out and cut. There it is. You can have this little guy, and this is kind of like what I like about this little box project, is that you can kind of tell a little story here, where you can have this little VW kind of coming down the hill, and you have this little house sitting there, and it kind of, it tells kind of a cute story, and that's going to go on the back of our box. But one of the things I forgot to cut here is I need a sky. So let me grab my sky. How are you doing, Amy, on yours?
Well, here, let me show you what I'm doing right now. This was a set that came out last year. If anybody got the keepsake, you remember that little keepsake treat box? It came out last year, and it looks like kind of puffy, and you could put like a Ferrero Rocher in it, or whatever those are called. I always say it wrong. Well, it came with these stamps, and I love them because it was a way for me to get the peppermint stamp, as well as the check stamp, without buying that humongous background stamp. And then these are all little sentiments that you get for little taggies that you put on there too. So what I did is I just double stamped Flirty Flamingo and Rich Razzleberry to make myself this little piece that's going to go on top of one of my cards. That's what I'm working on right now. Did anybody get this one? It's a really great way to get a peppermint and a flannel stamp without buying that huge flannel stamp.
I got the huge flannel stamp, and I think I used it only twice. It's called Buffalo check.
Yep.
So what I'm doing now is I just cut some blue cardstock because I wanted to create a sky, and I had forgotten to do that part. So now I'm gluing my my pieces that I cut onto this blue cardstock, because this is going to go in the back right here. That's going to be my background. And then I'm going to put this little house here, and I'm going to color my little bug here, and I'm just going to pick some light cherry cobbler, and I hate it.
I realized that I did some of my books backwards. The way I put the cover on, they open to the left instead of the right. Is that interesting? I don't know how I did that. It must be my creative brain went backwards. It's for the lefties.
Because my first car that I ever had was a Volkswagen Bug. That was my college car. So I'm very partial to Volkswagens. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I really love this kit. I'm going to grab a little piece of cardstock here, and I'm just going to snip it right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adhere this to the back, and I'm going to grab this tape. I'm actually kind of liking this new tape they have. I'm going to adhere this to the back right here like this, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little tree that I cut out of the DSP, and it's a little wonky, so I'm just going to kind of trim it. And this is the funnest part of making this card, I think, is the box. You know, there's a lot of very technical pieces, and I don't see Catherine on here, but Catherine was interested in making this card, but she said it looked too hard and it looked too technical. It's not at all. You saw how easy it is to put that together. It is, it's not technical. It's actually kind of fun. Because you can kind of, you know, tell a story or make a little scene inside your little box card, which is really kind of what I enjoy doing. Let me see what that. Just grab. Have you tried this? I'm trying this stamping seal, and I'm actually kind of liking it.
I have not figured out the right technique with it yet, I have to admit.
Okay, so there's my little tree. And then because I put this extra piece on the back, I'm just going to trim it off. All I wanted to do was kind of just have a little bit of support here for my little tree as I hook it on the back, on the top of my Volkswagen. So that little Volkswagen is going to be going down this hill right here. The Volkswagen's going down, and then here's the little house. Or I can put a little house right here, and then I can put a big house there. That's another story I can do. And then, you guys are going to think I'm nuts, but if you get one of these itty-bitty little wobbles, one of these itty-bitty little wobbles will fit on the back of this Volkswagen. So I'm going to take off this wobble right now, and I'm going to adhere it to the back of this Volkswagen, and it fits there perfectly. See that? It just fits. And if it shows at all, because it's clear, all you have to do is kind of just grab your scissors, and I'm going to put this, he's going downhill with his tree, right? And look, there's a little car. Isn't that cute? So now I'm just going to go ahead and pop these guys up on, let me find, I got some big dimensionals. I'm just going to pop this up on a large dimensional. Okay, and this little house is going to go, oh, it's going to go right about there. Okay, so there is our scene for the back of our card. So now all I have to do is just grab some glue. Glue. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to grab some glue, and I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the back. So this, now, we're going to take our card, move out. We're going to take this, and as you look at this piece, this top part right here, we're going to fold this back, and we're going to grab some tear tape, and we're going to put tear tape on the back of this piece right here. Like that. And here's my tool. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my picky tool here. I'm going to pull this off. Okay, so now this goes folded on top to form our box. Okay, and now I fold that flat and I have my card. So now I'm going to put my seam back right here. So this is where my seam is going to go. So let's go ahead and paste that, and all I'm going to do is, if this part of my card lines up corner to corner, all I have to do is put my tear tape. Let me see, make sure I get this right. Yeah, my tear tape is going to go from here to here. And then I'm just going to put a piece of tear tape along the top. And this is what's going to go stuck on the back of on the triangle of this back part of the box right here. So I'm just going to lay this down so I can look down, and I'm going to line my corners up right there so that it fits perfectly right there. So there is the back. Now I'm going to do this one, and this one I'm just going to go ahead and grab some glue, and I'm just going to add that on there, and then I'm going to look straight down and we're going to put that one and line that up right there. There we go. There's the back of our little card. Now, all I have to do is come up with the bottom, which is going to be the sentiment, and that's going to be easy because look, I have a piece right here with the negative space on it, and I can also take another piece of this DSP, and if I want to, I can use the, we have some really neat words right here, and it's going to fit right here on my card. Okay, so let me do that. Let me grab, let me just grab one of these red markers, and I'm just going to run this across my photopolymer stamp like this, and this is going to be my sentiment. I'm just going to very carefully just run it across, and I'm going to just kind of move my paper, and I'm going to just stamp it right there. Okay, there's my sentiment. So now I'm going to go over, and that's going to fit nicely there. And I'm going to trim this. But what I want to do now is I want to take my framelit here is going to fit just perfectly right under my sentiment. So I'm going to take that over to my big shot, and I'm going to cut that.
Here, so while you're doing that, I can show some of my examples. Okay. I have one that I need maybe a little help from the audience on, so I'll do that one last. But, okay, so you're doing that. What was the name of that bundle you were working on, Trimming the Town? That's the name of the paper, I believe.
Yeah, it's Coming Home.
All right, so Coming Home, and I believe the paper is called Trimming the Town. And so I made this one. I did my outside a little different than Kat because I hadn't figured out her smart ribbon idea yet. So I have the wreath paper here, and then I have a piece of this, doodle paper here. And then I cut, this is the Poppy Parade ribbon that's on clearance right now. It goes perfect with this paper. It's $3. It's gorgeous. And, I'm going to say that and it's going to sell out tonight. Not just from us, but I mean, it's just, I can't believe it's still for sale. But then I couldn't figure out how to close my card. So I have this tab around in the back, and then it comes around and I'm holding it with a glue dot, but then it frayed a little bit. So this is my very first card, and I made some mistakes, but now I'm way better at making this card. But so you pop it open, and then inside, I went with the mountain scene. Oh, where'd you go? You guys lost me. Here we go. I went with the mountain scene. So, ooh, where's my camera? I'm not as good as Kat at the camera angles. So here is the mountain scene. And then I found a good cutting point so that I could go right down into the lake so that the lake was on the bottom there. And then I popped up 2 trees. My trees are actually on little tabs that I glued underneath the paper so that it would just pop up like this and lay down. So there's the tree, and then I don't know if I can show it to you. See there? There's a piece of paper that I glued to the back of it, and I used the tear and tape to make it really strong. And then I also tear and taped the cardstock underneath. So there's some real good strength and structure there holding these trees up. And you didn't have to do any fancy cuts here because I just put it right under where I left the DSP. And I went all the way to the corner, which is a little different than what Kat did. I also hadn't figured out my corner thing yet, so I folded it, not realizing that you don't have to do it like this. You can just glue that part of the card, and then this other piece will actually fold in properly, so you don't have to glue the whole piece down. Did you say that, Kat, already? Did you explain how to do this sheet so that it folds properly?
No, but you can go ahead and.
Okay, so I'll show you in my next example how it folds properly. So it still works if you do it like this. It's just the whole thing folds together, and I'll show you in the next example how I did it better. And then I only cut out this one little ice skater from a scrap piece, and I popped him up. So he actually has a little, it's hard with my lighting, he has a little piece of cardstock behind him holding him to pop up. And then when you open the card, you have to pop him up a little bit, but I think he came out pretty cute. It's hard not having an audience going ooh and ah. I can only imagine what celebrities are like right now when they're like taping in front of a live audience, but there's no audience. It must be so weird. Okay. So then the next one I did, this one says Winter Wonderland. That. And this is my sneaky tip. I actually bought the Most Wonderful Time product medley, but I only bought the refill. I didn't buy the stamps and the dies. I only bought the refill. And so I made this card with the refill. All of this paper has gold on all the different pages. There's stickers in here. There's gold stars in here. There is so much fun stuff in here. Depending on how much time we have later, I can always show you guys later. But I use that for this card. So here is one of the pages, and it's hard to show glimmer on camera, but this is glimmery. And this is that gold ribbon that carried over from last year. Is part of the rose bundle. So I figured out how to glue down the ribbon. See, I glued it down, and then I glued it under the front page so that you could tie it here. And then you pop it open. And I have trees cut out. I fussy cut the trees. And then there's this mossy meadow star. It's the same color, so it's very subtle. And then there's all these sticker deer. So this is one of the deer I put in. And then one of the papers is of different presents. Ooh, again, I have really bad lighting. I don't know what's going on here. So I cut out these golden shimmer presents. And these two, you could put them on wobbles. I made my own little accordion fold to put them on just because I didn't have wobbles handy. And then I just put, oh, over here. See how bad I am at this? Then I put 3 more presents over here. And then there's a little star accent right there. So this card was probably the easiest one I made because I just cut all my squares out. I fussy cut the trees real quick, shoop, and then I did sticker, and the box presents. And I think it's just a really pretty luxurious card. I don't have a sentiment in the inside, but here's that fold I was talking about. I only glued down that corner, and then what happens is when you fold, it just kind of like the fold goes this way, and then this part of the paper just folds in, and it's nice and neat. So you can do it either way. I just think it looks nicer once you don't get the crease in your panel. Is that helpful?
That's fantastic. This is one of, I guess I'm going to finish my card, but I wanted to let the group know that this is why Amy and I decided to do this session today together, because we both had great, I mean, our ideas just started flowing about what we could do with this very simple box card design, and then we both wanted to kind of try it and then show it to you. So for my card, what I've done is I went ahead and I used the framelit, and I lined it up so it met the curve of the sentiment. and I just used the top piece that I cut off here. I used it down here, and then I just went ahead and I cut a piece of the DSP down there. And what the same thing that Amy is saying is that when you fold this, this just folds in. This just folds in. See how it just folds in flat. So now this is our whole card. So here is the top of my card, and I kind of saved that for last. And once again, I'm going to use a piece of the DSP that I already cut. I'm just going to put that one right there. And then I'm going to use, again, another piece of DSP, and I have the front. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do that's different, because I have a gap here, is that I can take a piece of vellum, and I use one of the it's one of the smaller embossing folders, and I can just take this vellum, and now I can adhere this DSP, and this is 3x3. This is a 3x3 piece, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue that on. And I'm actually going to turn it around so that the smoother side is going to be on my paper, and the glue is going to kind of move. And then I'm going to do this piece right here.
I really have to say I did love using the same glue for this project. I usually am a snail or a stamp and seal girl, but this was great because while you're working on this card, there's times when you need to shimmy stuff because you might put it down and it's not perfectly aligned because you're kind of like, you have it all popped up and you're trying to get it just in the corners just right. So I really like the extra give with the glue.
Yes, yes, it just kind of gives you, and again, I always use just a wet, a wet piece if I ever have extra, and I've never had a problem just kind of wiping it off. So now that I have this, what I did, and I don't have time to show all of it, but I'm going to show you another couple that I did. I just went ahead and took a piece of the foam and used this set here, which is the, they're called joy dies, and these are all the letter dies. So the way I put the ribbon on, and I'm going to show you that part, and then I'm going to decorate my top later, is that, okay, I'm going to fold this in, and it folds in. This is my top, and what I did is I took, and I have two kinds of ribbon that came with this set. I'm just going to use this pretty red ribbon. And I used, I don't know, I just kind of guesstimated. I kind of wrapped my ribbon around like this, and I just, sometimes I just have to try to tie a bow, and I never really measured them all. This is how I do it, just to make sure I get a good bow, and then I'll just go ahead and cut. So now that I've done that, let me measure and see what I actually, so that's 14. 14 and 7 is what? Quick math. Public
21.
The pressure. I can't do public math. I'm sorry. So just add that up, guys. 7 and 14, and you got your number. Don't make me do public math. Okay, so then all I did is I took some tear tape, okay? And I put that on the top of my card. And this is where my ribbon's going to go. And I want a little bit more ribbon at the back than I do the front. So I'm just going to lay my ribbon on that, and then I'm just going to bring it to the back. And now I'm going to put, this goes on top. But because you're going to have ribbon, and you're going to be opening and closing it, you want to go with the tear tape on the back of this. You definitely don't want to skimp, and I just go ahead and I put a couple of pieces both vertically and horizontally to make sure that I really get this on there good, because I don't want someone pulling on the ribbon, and then it's gonna fall apart. So let me go ahead and pull this off, and I will show you how nice it's going to come out. And then I'm going to show you some of the ones I was working on, because Amy and I, we had to get off the phone because she had to put her son to bed. That's how excited we were about these projects.
I was laying down in the dark.
Okay, so here is my my ribbon. So here it is. I just tie this up.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, and I'm gonna decorate the front. But there's my card that I made just now. So if we untie this, and we're going to give it to a person, it doesn't matter that this ribbon flows. I think that's kind of pretty. You can tell it's got kind of the texture from the embossing folder. I'm going to have to get those little pieces down, right? Isn't that pretty? And then we just open it up. And there it is. And then it's kind of got a little bit of fun in there with our little Volkswagen.
It's such a cute, like, wow card. Someone gets that in the mail, and it's just like, wow.
So here's another one that I did. And this one, I took some old ribbon. Same concept. I just love using these curves. Same thing, only I put some blue here. Instead of the white, I just got a little bit fancier. I added some stars, but it's the same idea. And then there's this one here. Let me open up. I did a red one, and then I did a green one. This was actually the first one I did. This is the one I was showing Amy, and I used the stamps from the Curvy Celebrations to stamp my trees, and then I found the trees from that other stamp set and decided I would just go ahead and use those. And then I had the car all by itself here, lost in the forest with the little houses over here, and then there's our little sentiment. And I was using these wonderful little curvy curves. So then that folds there. Then we got to talking.
Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
I can't put a ribbon around through this because I'm going to show you what this card does. I love this. This is what I worked on today. So let me just move in. Okay, so here's the card. You open the card up, and inside is the little scene, and there is your comment. Isn't that gorgeous?
Wow.
So it took a little bit of engineering to come up with, and then it folds. See how it just folds beautifully. So I made that the outside. I had to trim this to kind of make it fit. But this is what Amy and I were talking about the other night, and then I went, oh my God, what if we did it? And she's like, no, you're kidding. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try it. So there it is. I tried it. Then my last card that I did is this one. And I wanted to use another set because I think I had kind of exhausted the little Volkswagen. So here is, and this is the paper. This is just some of that classic Christmas paper, but it comes in all kinds of neat colors. And I was combining it with the shaded spruce, and then I think this is Pool Party. But you open this one up, and I just wanted just a beautiful stag. So this is the stag that came with one of the sets that's in the mini catalog. I just used some plaid, kind of playing off the shaded spruce. I think this is garden green. These are just trees that you could stamp, and let's see, I have all the stuff.
In the pines tree, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, here's the stag. There's the set in the pines. There's our still scene, and just to, and then I use, you can see the glimmer paper. You see I use glimmer paper, and this paper here, believe it or not, is the white velveteen. And then I use those little mini snowflakes, and I think they're just perfect. They just give enough, and then I just love my gold stag, and that's all there is.
Yeah.
So we went nuts on this, and I want to thank Amy for agreeing to be a guest demonstrator and show her talent as well in putting together these projects. And this was the fall one. This was my first one that I put together.
Kat, do you want to see my doggy one really fast?
Yes.
Okay. So this is an old stamp. It says, "You're my chosen family." I don't know if you remember the stamp, but I just didn't have a good stamp. But I was thinking of all these people who are adopting dogs right now during the pandemic, and how dogs are your chosen family. And so I made myself, woo, how am I so bad at this? I made myself a little dog store with the doggies, and I just put a little bit of this bark, wolf, chase, scratch words, and then I made little awnings. I just fussy cut those by hand just to make them kind of playful, because I would imagine I'd give it to a family with kids. And then I haven't put anything inside yet, but I thought that would be cute to make it look like somebody just adopted a dog. And isn't that cute?
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Thank you.
That is fantastic. So it's, wow, I can't believe this really turned out well. Amy, thank you so much. I know you're a busy mom, and I appreciate you putting some projects in, and you're also a demonstrator on your own. You have your own business. And Amy and I met up with Catherine at one of the on stages, and we just really enjoy talking and sharing ideas, because she is so creative. I've posted some of her links for her paper pumpkin projects, because she does alternate paper pumpkin projects, and she does some really neat projects with kids, with her children. If you have grandchildren that you want to stamp with, she's got some really neat ideas. So we're different creative energy, but coming together. That's the whole thing. Just like Stamping Fusion, it's the synergy. And it's just kind of neat when we get to mix it up. Amy, did you?
That's what fusion means, right?
No, did you have anything you want to say? Go ahead.
No, I'm just happy to be invited to the Stampin' Fusion community, and it was nice to spend time with you guys. And I will probably also make a video just to show off all my different ideas from making these with Kat, and then we can kind of link our two videos together. So, if you want to see all of mine, I have a couple more. You can kind of watch my video, you can watch her video, you can ask us questions. I'm always available. You can ask through Kat or email me directly.
Cool.
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to see you.
Well, they get to see the face, because they've always seen you making your comments in Stamping Fusion.
I'm really regretting not doing my makeup today, so I'll do it next time.
Thank you. We've got lots of good comments, lots of wows, pretty, that's cool. Wow, they love the dog card. Amy, I don't know if you can see the comments, really cool.
I can't.
And Amy, thanks for joining our group. Love all the cards. Amy, your cards are great. Amy, you're doing great. Wow, Amy, you're the star of the show. Way to go. We got to do this again. So this is Kat Chancellor. I'll have this loaded, and after I edit me not being in pajamas anymore. But if you're interested, on Saturday mornings, let me know on social media if you're home stamping, and we could get together on Zoom and just have an informal stamping session. And instead of a pajama party, it'll just be grab your coffee and we'll just kind of wake up and do some stamping. So thank you so much, Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, stampartconnection.com. Happy stamping. Stay safe and stay well. Bye.